Donald Trump has made going after bad hombres his top priority, and his pressure on cartels is clearly working. Take Mexico, which is effectively a narco state. Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum went from appeasing, enabling, and collaborating with criminal cartels to finally playing ball with the U.S. under extreme political and economic pressure from President Trump. Now she's handed over 26 top cartel leaders to the United States. And it's all happening during Fentanyl Awareness Week. I sat down for an exclusive interview just yesterday with Pam Bondi for Fox Noticias.
President Trump's directive on day one was make America safe again. And that is stopping the deadly flow of cocaine and other drugs coming into our country. We see young kids dying every day from this abuse. I don't think any teen, any adult thinks they want to take fentanyl. They think they're taking cocaine. They think they're taking some other drug, but often it's laced with deadly fentanyl. And that's why Fentanyl Awareness Week is so important for our country.
But make no mistake, the Mexican government isn't doing this out of the kindness of their heart. The only reason they're sending these killers to face justice in the U.S. is because President Trump is forcing Claudia Sheinbaum. Of all the messes Biden left behind, the Western Hemisphere might be the biggest President Trump has to clean up after the border, and it won't be easy. Everyone knows that Hamas and Hezbollah are transnational terrorist organizations. But guess what? We have organized transnational terrorist groups right here in our own hemisphere. And the biggest ringleader is not far from the state of Florida. Attorney General Pam Bondi says Venezuelan dictator Nicolas Maduro uses groups like Tren de Aragua, the Sinaloa cartel, and the Cartel of the Suns to bring deadly drugs into our country through Mexico. And with the drugs comes violence. Trump is sending a message to criminals and narco dictators like Nicolas Maduro. He put a reward of $50 million for information leading to Maduro's arrest. That's the biggest reward ever offered by the U.S., even bigger than Osama bin Laden.
This is twice the highest reward previously offered for any American fugitive in our nation's history. And here's why. This is not a legitimate presidential regime. He is a narco-terrorist. He and his associates are flooding our country with cocaine as a plot against America. He is one of the biggest drug traffickers in the world, and he must be brought to justice. Cocaine, other drugs are killing Americans.
But it's not just narcotics. The illegal drugs flowing into our country bring an onslaught of violence and criminal activity that sweeps up anyone caught in its path.
And it's not only the cocaine. With that, what comes with that? The human trafficking, the weapons, the gangs terrorizing our country and many other countries. This is organized crime, no different than the mafia.
Socialists have been in power in Venezuela for nearly 30 years. During that time, Venezuela went from being the richest country in Latin America to the poorest in the hemisphere next to Haiti. Maduro uses oil and drug money to finance his illegitimate government. 1 year ago, there was a presidential election, and Maduro lost by 70% of the vote. But he refused to leave office, and he used his military to steal the election. While his people starve, he and his henchmen are laundering the drug money into luxury goods all over the world. Since President Trump took office, Pam Bondi and the DOJ have actually confiscated over $700 million in assets.
Maduro-related assets are over $700 million in total that we have already seized. These assets include 2 multi-million-dollar jets, multiple homes, a mansion in the Dominican, multiple multi-million-dollar homes in Florida, a horse farm valued at millions of dollars, cars, 9 vehicles, I believe, wow. Jewelry, millions of dollars in jewelry and cash.
First, President Trump declared cartel terrorist groups. Then he stopped the oil investments from Chevron going to the Maduro regime. He's seizing Maduro's stolen assets, and now he put a $50 million bounty on him. The walls are closing in for Maduro, and he knows it. Here's why all this matters to America. If Maduro falls, communist Cuba and Nicaragua will also crumble, and President Trump will effectively tell the communists and the Chinese who's the new sheriff in the Western Hemisphere. This is actually bigger than what's happening in Alaska. Ukraine and Russia are on the other side of the world, but Donald Trump's cleaning up our neighborhood. If Donald Trump accomplishes this, this would go down as the biggest foreign policy achievement for him, but also for his Secretary of State, Marco Rubio. There are millions of brave people in Venezuela who are fighting for their freedom at great risk to their lives. One of them is Maria Corina Machado, the opposition leader and the woman Maduro fears the most. For the last year, she has been living in hiding. In fact, tonight, she is coming to our program from an undisclosed location.
Click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You won't get it anywhere else.